Hello, mech fans, and welcome to the Valhalla Club. Grab yourself a Timbeaky Dark, set up that paint booth, open that spreadsheet, and join us as we talk all things BattleTech.
Hello, folks. Welcome to the Valhalla Club podcast. This is Bourbon. I'll be your bartender for tonight. Along with us tonight, we've got Matt, the Northman, and Zach, Zemer, Zach, however that goes. Mike, the Viking, is currently away. He may be joining us later, but you'll have to stay tuned for that one if you want to listen to Mike's sultry voice. With us tonight, we've got, what's that?
Sultry. Woo.
Sultry. Yeah, that's what I'm going with. With us tonight, we've got Jim Topa, the Godfather, Topa-san from Catalyst Demo Team, and BattleTech Godfather extraordinaire. So, welcome to the show, Topa.
Thanks, guys. Thanks. Glad to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you on, really.
Thanks.
I think we need to start with, where do all the nicknames come from?
Topa-san came when I was back in high school. We were kind of like into the Japanese culture when Wolverine was dealing with it at the time, and so we just added San to the end of Topa. The Godfather, though, that comes from the days of Dark Age Clicks game, where I would just buy cases of the current set just to get everything I wanted, and anything extra I had, if somebody was like, "Oh man, I need that one," and I would just give it to them. And
Wheelin', huh?
Yeah, yep. I would just give it to them and say, if you got something a little bit later on that I need, just give it back to me. So
I give you this gift.
Yeah.
That's how you make friends, really. You just give them free shit.
Yep. So the nickname just carried over ever since then. So
awesome.
Well, let's learn a bit about you. I don't think we've had you on here before, have we?
Nope. This is the first time.
First time. All right. All right. So I know the answer, but I'm going to ask favorite faction.
It might surprise you. I changed it in the last about year and a half, 2 years. Ever since I found out about the Elysian Lancers being from Sicily, I changed to them.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, the Elysian. The Elysian Lancers.
Just playing into the Godfather name, right?
Yep. Well, you could say Elysian if it depends on how you want to, I think, speak the Italian language, because they say the C's harder than a soft C. So I always go with the Elysian Lancers or Lycian Lancers.
All right.
So,
all right.
Interesting.
Yep.
Cool.
It was Wolf's Dragoons. I think that's what Ben was thinking. But when I read the story about them, I think, what was it, in Shrapnel? I changed my mind.
All right. And what draws you to them?
Just the simple fact that they tied their roots back to Sicily, and that's where my grandfather and my mother's family was Sicily. So just figured I'd keep the family ties together.
There you go. That's cool.
That's pretty neat.
That is neat. That's definitely neat. Favorite mech?
Mech Mark IV Prime.
All right.
Nice.
A Mark IV.
Yep.
Mark
Those
IV,
XXL engines. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's the Savage Wolf, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Have you gotten the new Star League box yet with the pre-painted one?
I did. That one's okay because it's the A. It doesn't have the missile pods on the back like the Prime has. So I'm waiting to see if they're going to re-release, or reconfigure the plastic with a Savage Wolf Prime.
Gotcha. I guess you could do some kit bashing, but sure, it's just nice that we got it in plastic. I think you can still get the Prime in Ironwood metals, though. They got that kicking around.
Yep, I've got a couple of those.
Nice.
All right. And then how did you get started in BattleTech?
So I was in college in 1988 and went to a comic book store with a couple of my roommates or neighbors across the hall from me. And I saw the BattleTech compendium on the shelf. And so I bought it thinking that it was a complete game. And a couple of weeks later, I was reading through it and I was like, I'm missing something. And it was the pieces, the cardboard cutouts and the board and the map and all the other stuff. And so then I went back to the comic book store and I bought the second edition box set. And from there on, it was one of the major games that I was always playing. So it's either BattleTech or some other miniature game like Star Wars or something like that.
Nice. Do you mind me asking, do you still have those original minis, or did they get lost to the sands of time?
No, I still have those minis. Yep.
Nice.
Not painted very well, but I still have those minis.
We all have to start somewhere with our painting journey,
Oh, yep. So, but that's where I started back in 1988, and then when I moved to Ohio to serve in the Air Force, I met up with some friends, and they weren't really big into BattleTech, but they knew about it. So we would meet every Sunday afternoon and just pick amount of tonnage and just bring 2 mechs of the tonnage total and just try to smash each other's heads in with the mechs. And then it just went on from there, from running games to conventions to running games for Dark Age, and then the WizKids Dark Age, and then Mike Miller, who was the event lead for WizKids at the time, asked me to join the demo team to take over Solaris, and then here I am.
Wow, so you've been a demo agent since WizKids?
Yeah, I've been demonstrating and running events, and actually I helped run the 2 national championships that they had at Origins the last 2 years that the game was in production. So yeah, it's I would say probably 2001 I've been demoing games for a company in some capacity.
Over 2 decades. That's incredible.
Yep.
You've seen some years.
I have seen some years.
Well, and you've also seen the game change and grow into what it is today too.
Yep, I have. I can remember those days where it's like, hey, does anybody play BattleTech? And everyone was like, what's that game? And now it's like, you can't throw a rock without hitting somebody that plays BattleTech.
Or even just people that don't play it, but at least know about it or have at least played it in the past. So,
oh yeah. Yep. It's kind of amazing how new people are walking around a game store, or they, come to where we're playing BattleTech, and they're like, oh, there's a board game to the video game, and it's like, yeah, there's the video game came from the board game. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people, it's all these pieces that people get to know. They're like, oh, there's books associated with it. And it's like, yeah, it all came from the books,
Yep.
Yeah, I was just took in my first box 03 of novels to work because somebody was like, hey, you're into BattleTech, right? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, hey, do they have novels and stuff? I'm like, yeah, they do. I was like, want to read them? And he's like, yeah, that'd be awesome. So I just took
where Ben's face lights up and is like, "Oh, I've got something for you."
Yeah.
So an interesting, I want to say, fact about my BattleTech history is that until about 3-4 years ago, I never picked up a novel. I never read the lore. I never read, the history, and so I was just playing the game to smash some mechs, roll some dice, and that was it. So it was pretty interesting when people would come up to me and talk about the clans, and I'd be like, huh, okay.
Yeah, I've heard of that mech before, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what, though? I don't think that isn't an odd thing, though, in this setting. I feel like there's a sizable portion of people who are playing BattleTech who maybe only read, maybe one book or none of them at all. They got in through the video games or some other means, and they haven't dove in into the fiction itself, into reading anything beyond a shrapnel article.
Mm-hmm.
I know that was the case for myself for a little while. I'm fairly new to BattleTech, but even so, I I had the miniatures before I ever picked up, the Grey Death Legion trilogy. So
yeah, Topa, do you think like anything changed as you've started to read the books? I mean, do you like adding kind of fleshing out the background in the game, or does it really add to the game at all? What do you think?
So I think it was more. It was, I don't want to say more interesting back before I started reading the books. There was interesting conversations because people would come up to me and say that mech would never be part of this force when we were running games at conventions. And it was like, I'd shrug my shoulders. And now, for me, it actually, now reading the books and reading the stories, it gives me a reason to paint because, like the Elysian Lancers, right? I painted a whole battle foam tray of mechs in the color scheme. And, now I'm reading the stories, I'm reading the novels, and sometimes I'll be taking notes on, hey, this might be a good battle. And so I'm trying to figure out what mechs there are, what the opposing forces are, what their gunnery and piloting could possibly be. And then, maybe start planning on, do I have those minis, which I do, and then do I want to start painting them to maybe come up with a scenario for my local store, or just maybe to do at a convention somewhere. So I think the stories are helping me be a little bit more inventive in how I run my games.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, I hadn't thought about kind of the painting angle necessarily, is where, that's where the schemes come from, is from all the fiction and the source books and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, it makes a ton of sense in my opinion. Like in my own painting journey, I started out doing my own mercenary unit, then like a band of random pirates. But after I got into the fiction, I was just like, oh, you know what? Maybe I do need to make like paint up some Second Sword of Light or some Steiner guards. I hadn't thought about it, but that's a good thing to keep in mind. The stories kind of give you a gateway into what direction you might go, because you could be like, oh, I know these dudes.
Yep.
All right. What else? Anything else we can think of for questions to pick Topa's brain on? Just about
I mean, we'll ask him a lot more things, but
yeah.
What's your favorite era to play in, Topa? Now that you're limited by some of the lore, I guess.
I don't really have a favorite era to play in. I will play in anything. But if you want to go off of what I was trying to do at KSAGG, it would be any era that there was a lamb in it, so that way they could be used.
All right. What's your favorite lamb then? Tell me.
The Phoenix Hawk. I do like the Phoenix Hawk because it just reminds me of the times I was watching Robotech as a kid and seeing the Super Veritech come zooming in with the pods over the back. I've always liked the Phoenix Hawk one.
Nice.
You were very loudly proclaiming the lamb gospel there at KSAGG. That was pretty good.
I was, and no one listened to me.
Hard to convince people on lambs, I think.
I will say, personally, I myself, I have no problem with lambs as long as it's restricted to Alpha Strike, because Alpha Strike, it's just one book. If you tried to do Classic, I'm not pulling out like, 2 physical books and like another 2 PDFs on separate tablets. Like, no, sorry. Too much headache.
They're not really that bad in Total Warfare. They really have dropped down their capabilities since the second edition, or the second edition Total Warfare, or actually, BattleTech, where they were just jumping. You'd triple their jump to be able to land anywhere, and that was very broken. And maybe that's where I get the fascination of playing lambs in BattleTech. But I've played them once or twice in Total Warfare, and they're not really that bad.
So did they used to be like more of the game? Like I've never played lambs, and I started playing in the 80s or whatever, but did they used to be more present in the game? I don't know.
I believe in the earlier Star League, before the Succession War, and even during some of the Succession Wars, you will find that there are lambs that are available. And the only reason why I know about the Succession War is because one of the guys that I play with, he was playtesting a scenario for Adepticon, and he goes, just bring a Draconis Combine force of like 200 PV. And, Zemer, like you mentioned for Alpha Strike, I found a Phoenix Hawk for Draconis Combine during the Secession War, and I brought it, and he goes, "What's that doing there?" And I said, "It's totally legal." And the guys didn't like it. They specifically hunted it down during the campaign games because it was just wrecking a little bit of havoc in their rear lines. So, but yes, to get back to your point, they were more proliferant during the Star League because if I remember correctly, reading there were like a couple of lances of nothing but lambs, but they were just mostly like scouts.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Also, I believe the lore is by the time of the Fourth Secession War, like the lambs have become mostly antiques.
Yep.
In the Wolves on the Border, it's specifically called out by one of the texts. It's like, it's really weird that these wolves here, they have a lamb in their scout lance. Like, who the heck has the time and money to maintain that thing? Like,
yep.
So
mysterious people.
Yes.
Mysterious people. What are they doing with all this old tech? They must be just real lucky.
Very true. Very true.
Lambs. All right. So, I think we've got info from Topa. Let's see. Next up is Return Report. KSAGG 6.
Woohoo.
Matt.
That was awesome.
So Matt, Topa, and myself all attended KSAGG 6 that are currently on the podcast right now. There's a lot more people there, but it happened over the first weekend in December in Minneapolis. December, was that the 3rd through the 6th?
I think so,
yeah. Or 4th through the 7th, I guess.
Yep, 4th through the 7th. There you go. 4th through the 7th in Minneapolis. The Kroll siblings annual gathering of gamers celebrating Andrew and Aaron Kroll's birthdays. I still prefer the old name, Kroll Sisters of Go-Go.
It does make me laugh more.
Yeah, but Matt, why don't you go ahead and talk about what you did at KSAGG?
Ooh, well, I rolled some dice, that is for sure. Let's see, I flew in on... What did I fly in? I flew in on Wednesday, got there late Wednesday night. It was a little bit of snow in Denver, so my flights were a little bit delayed. But got there Wednesday night, hung out for a bit. Thursday, I got to meet the BattleTech guys. That was great, Michael and Nate. And I played in their kind of campaign, their global campaign that they've set up. They were running the first 3 missions was the plan. I guess they said that was pretty optimistic. So we actually only got to the first 2 missions in their global campaign, and they kind of walked us through the process. It's basically classic BattleTech with some additional rules, kind of some more advanced rules. They really weren't too crazy, and they actually added quite a bit of fun. So I really enjoyed it, and getting to meet and play with them. We had 8 players, and then Michael and Nate ran the Op 4, and they did a really good job about making the Op 4 turn really quick. They just blew right through it and then left the time that we had scheduled just for the players to move and to do and to shoot and try and go for the missions and stuff. So it was really fun. Doing just 2 missions. We got some of the campaign flair, but we didn't get like the overall. They're up to, I think, is it the 9th mission now, Zemer, that they're at? In the campaign?
I'll have to double check. I think 9 and 10 is just around the corner.
Okay. So out of 9, we did the first 2, so it was good enough to kind of get into it and really see what it was like. It was really cool. Really enjoyed it and really enjoyed hanging out with the BattleTech guys. Let's see. What did we do? I don't know. We did,
If you don't mind me elaborating. So like
oh, sure, go for it.
That first mission was the Super Mech Sunday, right? Where you were playing in a Solaris arena, essentially. Like it wasn't Solaris, but it was a game like mech games.
Yeah, and we had like 4 maps out, and for some reason we decided only to really like deploy on one little corner, and so it was really like 16 mechs in one map sheet. It was crazy.
Yeah, that mission is like an appropriate amount of goofy in there, especially the setup. Like, I think they set up the narrative in a fun way. Like, oh yeah, so we tweaked your heat sinks. We put explosive devices in your armor. So like, we could put on a show here. Like, oh, we're just sabotaging our mechs for money. Great.
Yeah, essentially like a training show-off mission. It was pretty fun.
Yeah.
And then the second one was like a convoy
Pandemonium path.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and that was fun. Yeah. So that one kind of had I won't spoil any surprises there, but it does have some fun surprises that it's fun to because it's a system where you have rotating GMs, and they were GMing everything. So like we didn't know anything that was going to happen that was kind of hidden. So we had to discover it on the fly. That was a lot of fun to just like be like, why is the Op 4 acting this way? I don't understand. And then it's kind of revealed as you go through the scenario what's actually going on. So it was really kind of that narrative game. In reality, it was like really narrative, not just this weapon hits this mech and then that mech shoots back at me. There was more to it than that. So I really enjoyed that.
Yeah. In case we don't cover more of that specific game, because we have other stuff to talk about, I do want to plug if anybody is interested in playing this BattleTech campaign, because I think overall the campaign is good fun, especially if you just have like a small group of friends who want to get together and have a good laugh at how silly things get. Nate and the BattleTech guys, they have these missions up on their Patreon. It's free for anybody to download and run themselves.
Yeah, and the last one comes out I think on the 27th, right?
Yeah, so, I think it's going to be a twofer. We're going to get missions 9 and 10.
Oh, nice.
So yeah. It's going to be a big old finale for it.
Yeah, so having played it, I would, if you've got a group or there is an Alpha Strike side, so you could even use aces. If it's just you at home, right? You could use aces to be the Op 4, I guess. It would be pretty hard, but just due to some of the nature of it, the narrative nature of it. But yeah, I really recommend it, having played it that day. Let's see, after playing games, we're always hanging out and having a blast, going out to dinner and whatnot, just talking. Let's see, Friday I played in the Alpha Strike 350 singles tournament, and I always say this, like, I'm a middle of the pack guy, and I'm okay with that. That's where the fun is. I did have a more interesting Alpha singles tournament than usual. Usually I just I'll win a game and then just get destroyed and kind of go up and down like that. But this one, all my games were close, and they were all really enjoyable and fun. But luck was not on my side as often is the case. But I played in the first round. I played against Scott LeBaron, and I basically, let's see, I don't even remember what we were playing. I don't have them written down. So I barely won that one, so just barely beat Scott, and so that put me into the upper bracket, I guess, for the time being. Then I played Matt Barons from Wolfnet. So I lost by that game. We were playing Headhunter. I do have that one down. I lost by 1 pip on Headhunter. I couldn't destroy his last commander, and I completely had the shots to do it, but I just couldn't get that last pip. So he won that game by 1 pip, and I was okay with that because I like to stay in the middle. So going on 1-on-1, 1-and-1. Then I played a guy by the name of Brett, and that game was Capture the Flag, I believe. And that one was another really close one. It's actually on the Wolfnet stream, so you can go watch it on the Wolfnet YouTube channel. You can see my dice stay pretty chilly for most of the game. And then I lost that game by 1 pip on a dasher. So, so 2 straight games losing by 1 pip. Like, I couldn't destroy them. Yeah, so it goes. After that, I played Brute's daughter, Aloria, I think is her name. And I played her actually last KSAGG, and so, it was fun to play her again. She beat me last KSAGG. This time I beat her by 1 point. I think we were playing Hold the Line, and I got one of the side objectives, and then we were just shooting each other up. So, got the 1 point win. Round 5, I played Drew Vandaloo, I think, in stand-up fight, and he definitely had more of an optimized list. I was playing as the 21st Centauri Lancers, just for fun. I always play with stuff that I've never taken before when I go to a tournament. And stand-up fight, I lost. I didn't get tabled, but I lost handily. So I came out 2 and 3 for the day. All the matches were within a good amount, within points of each other, and so I could have gone like 4 and 1, but probably wouldn't have gone 4 and 1. But it was actually a lot more fun than some of the other singles tournaments, just because the games were closer and I wasn't getting blown out. So that was great. I was all good with that. What was that? Friday night we had the trivia. We went out and got, I forget, ramen or something like that with Ben and his wife and the crew, and it was a fun night. Let's see, Saturday. So I actually had to leave early on Saturday. It was my wife's birthday that weekend, and so the year before I just stayed out the whole weekend, but I didn't think I should do that 2 years in a row. So yeah, I had to leave in the afternoon, and I was actually going to play in kind of a Solaris event, but then they ended up needing someone else to play as a doubles partner, so I just jumped in there and just threw in a force. And myself and the fellow I played with, and I forget his name, I'm sorry, but he was from Chicago, so our team name was the Windy City Walk-Ons, just because I was walking on the team. And I ended up playing the first 2 rounds. And the first round, I played Mr. Ben and his teammate Kaz. And again, another close call, another loss, but it was a great game. We were, what 2 were we playing? We were playing Hold the Line and King of the Hill? I can't remember what it was. No, it wasn't King of the Hill. Hold the Line and Headhunter? I can't remember. I can never remember.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But I just remember it was Hold the Line because you guys got that middle, our back middle point, and that's basically what won the game for you because it was 3-1 at the end. It was Hold the Line and King of the Hill. Yeah, that's what. Okay, yeah, those darn quick movers, we couldn't kill them, so they got there and took that point. We couldn't come back from that. So, yeah, it was fun. Those Kaz's SRM carriers kept me scared off those points back in your guys' rear, but
yeah,
that was 6 damage of pain staring you down, right?
Exactly, especially when I'm going to have to shoot them and destroy them and get hit by that, and then be able the next round to try and move on to it. So. The only thing about the SRM carriers is they don't have turret. So if you can get behind them, which I was able to do, is get behind them and then you're safe, except he had 2, and so he could rotate one to cover the other. So, yeah, that was a hard counter to some of our faster units getting back there. But yeah, it was a great fun game with Ben and Kaz. And then my second round, I went from playing Ben and Kaz to playing Andrew and Goober. So those 2 guys, they were ready to stomp us, and they had all sorts of scary battle armor and everything. Anyways, we actually came down to the last turn of the game, and we were winning, and it was Headhunter and something else. stand-up fight. Yeah, stand-up fight. And we were coming down to the last round, and we had taken out a bunch of their stuff. We'd actually gotten some units behind their commanders, which were pretty scary. He had a Savage Wolf, I believe, and what was Andrew's? I don't know. Andrew's had kind of more. He had like an Orion as his commander, or whatever. Anyways, we took those both out, and so we were ahead. Tried to get their pips, but we didn't, or tried to get their objective markers. Couldn't do that, but we were ahead 2-1 basically. In the last round, they lost initiative, and my commander was a gargoyle. He was going to move away, out of the way so no one could get him on our first move. And Andrew brought in his VTOLs, his VTOL group, with 2 battle armor each, and completely encircled my dude, who of course does not have jump, so he is trapped and cannot move. And that was the end of him, and then they ended up pulling out the win through MOV, because we tied 2-2 on objectives. So lost another close one there. But no, it was a really great game. It was fun to play Andrew and Goober. They're always great and loud and fun to play with. So yeah, it was great for me. And then I had a jet, and Topa actually gave me a ride back to the airport, which was really nice. Got to chat, and it was nicer than an Uber. So flew back home. All was safe. All was grand. So loved KSAGG. That's one that will be, if I can do any traveling, it will be top or second to the top of my list. So I'll probably be there every year. Anyways, I talked a lot there. Ben, what did you do?
I was going to kick it over to Topa.
Okay, Topa. We can go Topa.
So I flew in on Thursday, got there a little bit later on Thursday afternoon. I didn't really start playing until Friday, and Friday was the singles tournament. So I jumped into that for a little bit. I did 3 rounds, and then I dropped out because I wanted to play in Ben's dinosaur game just to see how it played and give him some feedback, because we're always looking for some interesting events to be running at conventions. And so we sat down and played that for the night, and had a good time. And then Saturday I jumped into the Total Warfare Clan Wolverine tournament, I guess you could say it was. It was a tournament that wasn't a tournament. I totally came unprepared because I forgot to build a force. So I borrowed a force, it was a good force. It was decent. I just wasn't feeling it because I came unprepared. It just totally threw me off. And so I played 1 round, and then I dropped out and just hung out for Saturday afternoon, and then gave Matt a ride to the airport, and then I came back and hung out for a little bit, and then I left on Sunday. That was my weekend. It was a good time, though. I had a great time.
Yeah, it was great to see you there. It was for me, it's probably the same for Ben, although Ben goes to Gen Con often. So for me, it's kind of like my time to see the Eastern and Midwest folks, especially the Midwest. So seeing a lot of those guys that I've gotten to know over the last couple of years is always great, and just a fantastic crew. So
yeah, that's a big reason why I like going to big events like that. Is you get to see a lot of the people from like the different coasts and different areas, and just hanging out and chit chatting, or meeting new people. That was I think the highlight of my trip was at KSAGG was hanging out with Nate from BattleTech. I mean, that is a guy that lives his life in exclamation points.
Yeah, it was great to finally meet those guys. It's not often they're down here. So
yeah, he is a lot of fun, man. And Michael's great too. Michael and his I can't remember the term he uses for Michael's voice on his
sensuous.
Yes.
Or sensual or something.
Michael.
Yeah.
Sensual, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so funny to be in person. I think this way with a lot of people, but just hearing the dynamic between those two in real life is very similar to the dynamic that you get listening to them, because it's kind of like Michael a lot more kind of like holding everything steady, and Nate's reaching for the stars all the time. So it's a pretty good duo. I love it.
Yeah, it was a good time. I mean, for me, I got in there Wednesday evening, I think, and then hung out for a little while on Wednesday night at the hotel, and then Thursday. The hell did I do Thursday?
Yeah, what did you do Thursday?
I don't know.
You were playing something, right?
Did I?
Did you play?
I played in Goober's game.
That's right. The
the
Mad Twos versus the
the
Elementals.
last days of Barber's Marauder 2s. Yeah, it was 25 points of Elementals, I think, versus 16 Marauders and Marauder 2s.
Yeah, it just looked crazy to see.
It was
the mass. Oh my gosh.
It was insanity. Yeah, I mean, it was like they set up the Marauders on the board, and it was all Alpha Strike, and they set up the Marauders on the board, and then we did a hot drop of Elementals on top of them, basically. And it was just, I think we spent the last 2 hours with like maybe 10 points of Elementals left, just chasing down like the last 3 or 4 mechs,
hopping around on all the buildings.
Yeah, just trying to catch them, and it was a lot of fun. It was a good time. And then
is that actually how it goes down in the lore? Because that's to see it visually. I was like, oh man, this is crazy.
Yeah, I believe in the lore from the Clan Invasion. Yeah, they got gutted by just a cluster of elementals.
Yeah.
I think there was a battalion. It was like a battalion of Marauder 2s, or Marauders and Marauder 2s, and versus like an entire cluster of elementals or something like that. It was craziness.
That is a lot. Just to see it on the board, I was like, holy cow, this is a lot of elementals.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Didn't they have they had a story in the not this version of the Shrapnel, but in 22 about them, didn't they?
I believe they did.
Huh.
But yeah, I mean that's what I was talking about earlier about building a force or doing some painting based off of the story, because I did the exact same thing that Stoner did. I went and got a whole bunch of Marauders, and I'm just waiting to paint them in their color scheme. So
that is a lot of Marauders. Yeah. Although when I got my mercenaries stuff, I was like, man, I got a lot of Marauders. Maybe that's what I need to do, is use them that way.
Yeah, it was a good time. And then Thursday after the game, we just kind of hung out, and we went over to that Korean barbecue place and had
the Korean barbecue. Yep.
Chicken, right?
Yeah, man,
that was good.
That was some good Korean fried chicken. That was excellent. So
yeah, I'm a fan.
Shout out to that place. Whatever.
Definitely
that place
going back next year.
For sure. And then Friday, I ran 2 sessions of Hunter's Paradise, which was my dinosaur game. So, and it was mainly a play test, because I'd written the rules and I was trying to see if it was going to be viable for like longer term, bigger convention type stuff. Got some really good feedback both first and second sessions. It was me running all these dinosaurs and 6 to 8 other players, each with an industrial mech, hunting down and trying to grab dinosaurs and take them back to the enclosure and stuff so they could capture them. I think everybody had a good time.
Yeah, I think we had a good time, but let's be fair. During the second session, the players were going after each other.
They did. Which I don't know if we can ever prevent that, but it turned into somebody, I forget who it was. They went after you, didn't they?
Oh, it was Derek. Derek from Aries Games.
Oh, that's right. It was Derek from Aries Games. He was like, "Can I shoot Topa?" I'm like, sure. Let's see how this plays out.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
So he shot me with a T-Sep gun.
Yeah, like little T-Sep and shut down for a couple turns. And,
that's harsh.
Yeah, it was rough. It was rough. Yeah,
this is like those Derek races where you can like push people off the course and stuff. For the battle.
Yeah. I still got a little work to do on some of the dinosaur behaviors and reactions. But I think we're pretty close if I can just get it sorted out here in the next couple months. So,
what did you think, Topa?
Yeah.
I thought it was a good game. Just like Ben says, he's just got to iron out some of the wrinkles. Working on the AI system. He better hurry up because Gen Con events go. We start submitting those for January. So.
All right. Well, I got 2 weeks of vacation. I guess.
Yeah. No pressure.
Yeah. No pressure, Ben.
Just thinking that one out. If not, we can list it and I'll figure it out before Gen Con.
Yeah.
Well, again, I think this all came up because I don't know if it was the first time you'd thought of it, Ben, but we had a conversation at maybe it was KSAGG last year where you were like, there's this planet where they were like hunting dinosaurs and stuff. So it's like another thing that came out of the lore that generated this kind of this scenarios and stuff. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I think it was either KSAGG last year or Gen Con. I know it was like me and Mario at some point, drinking something, and where the best ideas happen usually. And, it might have been KSAGG last year. I think it was. Yeah. So, yeah, it was a good time. But we ran 2 sessions of that. Everybody seemed to have a good time. And then Friday night, we went to the Japanese noodle place with the BattleTech guys and a handful of others. That tiny little place. I think Topa, you were there too, weren't you?
We showed up late because we went to the other one that was on the other side of town, and by the time we realized that it wasn't it, we turned around and you guys were getting your food and leaving. So
yeah, because we wanted to get back for the trivia stuff. Trivia was fun. I had a great time with that. That was really good.
It showed my ignorance, my BattleTech ignorance, which I'm glad it did. I have no pretension to like knowing actual stuff, so but it was a lot of fun, and I think they could have gone even crazier with it. But I like the idea of doing it. It was a lot of fun. Yeah,
so it was a good time. I had a blast with that, and then let's see, Saturday was doubles. Me and Kaz, a fellow Silver Fox, partnered up, and we ended up playing 3 games. Matt and his partner the first round, and he already talked about that. Second round, I ended up with Mario and Corey.
I didn't realize you played them next.
Yeah, Mario and Corey, which turned into a interesting game. We made a handshake agreement halfway through the game. We're like, hey, let's just bum rush the middle and just fight it out, and whoever wins, they win the game.
King of the Hill Part 2.
Yeah, it was basically King of the Hill without the hill or the king. So it was interesting, and then it was a good time. And then let's see, third game I ended up playing Mike Doyle, and Jonathan Colton.
Living it in the loungewear.
Yeah, and it was like literally like over in 2 turns because me and Kaz, we just didn't have any fast stuff to get to the middle of the hill or whatever, and it was just kind of like, all right, yep. I think it was domination and something else.
What did you guys think of all the dressing up of all the Comstar stuff and everything?
I'll tell you, Craig Baxter never disappoints. He's always got something up his sleeve for that stuff, and of course Greg Wright is always going all in on whatever faction he's chosen to play. So it's always fun to see that stuff, and with the different outfits and cosplay.
They could have rented robes at that place, because it was all about jihad, and so of course there's all this Word of Blake stuff going on, and there were so many robes on. Was it Friday when the singles? I guess both days, really, singles and doubles days. But there were so many Comstar and Word of Blake robes out on players. It was crazy.
Yeah. There's a lot of good stuff. So,
well, you're starting to see a lot more of the neuro helmets, cosplays too.
Yeah. A lot of those. I don't know. I want to pick one of those up at some point. I don't know how heavy those things are. I know
most of them are 3D printed, right?
Yeah, I think
most
so.
Of them are.
At least the ones I saw.
One of them at KSAGG, I think, used the Boba Fett helmets that they did a couple of years ago, and just took out the front of it and made that his Nero helmet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, those collector's helmets. My brother got one for Jango Fett.
Yep.
I could see that working, yeah.
Yeah, there were a lot of those going around. I think the guy I played in the first round in singles had one on, and he's like immediately, he's like taking it off because it was very inhibitive to your vision, and like trying to lean over all the time was like slipping off. I'm like, oh, don't let it drop on the board. Need like a strap underneath or something. But yeah, seeing the kind of the advancement in cosplay. I'm not a cosplayer at all, but I think it's just fun to see people do that.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see what people do with stuff. I mean, I know Greg's already hitting me up about next year for RimWorld's Republic stuff. So
yeah, so it's going to be
here we go.
Early Succession Wars. Is that what it is, or is it Star League?
I think it's Star League.
Star League. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, for the next KSAGG. So, which I feel like we did Star League last year, didn't we?
I don't even remember what we did.
Andrew did say that this was going to be like the second KSAGG that he did the same era. So I think you're right.
Yeah, I think it is because I think that was last year because I ran 350 singles Ironman with a Star League list. So,
yeah,
interesting, cool. All right, yeah, that was kind of, and then we kind of hung out on Saturday night, did a big discussion about rules and things with Josh Franklin and Ray Arastia, and talked about different stuff, and then
it was cool to have those guys in house for KSAGG. That was pretty fun. I've never met either of them until KSAGG, this last KSAGG. So that was great. That was cool.
Yeah, a lot of good talks with Ray and Joshua.
Yeah, it's always good to kind of get the pulse of what's going on. I know, Ray's always at the big conventions and stuff, and Joshua's usually there. I don't know. I don't remember him from Gen Con though.
No, Joshua doesn't go to the conventions.
Yeah, I think he only does the
health
Southern
issues, right?
stuff. And well, I think it's travel mainly, and it's I know he does the North Carolina stuff a lot because he's down around there in that state somewhere. But yeah, it was good to have them there, and kind of see what the community's doing and get their fingers on the pulse of the community, kind of thing. So that's always a good time in my book.
Yeah.
To get those CGL folks in the mix. But anything else from KSAGG?
I always like to point out that I would highly recommend going. This is one that it's BattleTech only, essentially. I mean, there's kind of some ancillary stuff that isn't stock BattleTech, but it's fantastic. The people are great. It's a great time to just hang out and be with people that love the kind of the universe and the game that you like. And so I went to the last one and had such a good time. I'm like, I'm definitely going to the next one. I think it'll be that way each year for me. So I like it that much. You guys should too as well.
And I believe I've heard it described as a BattleTech family reunion, and that's the vibe that KSAGG gives compared to other things like Gen Con and Adepticon, a couple other events.
Yeah, I went to it, both Adepticon and KSAGG this year, and Adepticon, or when I get there, Gen Con will probably be a very kind of a once-in-a-while deal, whereas KSAGG, it's like you described, you get close with the people, right? And it's just like a more comfortable thing where you just kind of relax and have fun, versus Adepticon was a little bit more like, big con type thing. So anyways, you guys can say how you felt, but that's how I feel about it.
No, it's exactly what you said, Matt. It's a little bit more intimate because you're not running around crazy trying to run games or be at a game or anything else like that. You've got time to chill out, relax, and talk and hang out and see each other. So
yeah, I think it's a really, it reminds me a lot of our LVO experiences, Matt, without all the extra noise on the periphery, with the LVO vibe,
Yeah, where it's like that's the thing is like Topa was saying, you just have like time to talk instead of just run from place to place or whatnot, and that's what I really enjoy. Is like, oh, I like the game, but in the end, it does come down to the people in this case, and I really appreciate that because it's like really good people and stuff, and getting to talk to the people you know, but also the new people that happen to be there this year or whatnot is really cool.
Yeah.
And I think we've talked Zemer into trying to go to it next year. So that'll be awesome.
Yeah, you definitely should.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna try to squeeze into KSAGG next year. I'll see if I can swing any other conventions, but I think I'm gonna make an exception for KSAGG. It's been a while since I've been to any sort of like fandom convention. Last one was back in 2019.
Yeah.
So
I think if I was asked by someone that's never been to a big convention but wanted to go to a BattleTech event, I would recommend something like KSAG because you get your foot in the door of kind of a bigger style event. But with KSAG, it's all like your game, and it's not, and it's this kind of more relaxed vibe. So I think it's great for beginners or those that don't travel much to cons and stuff. So that's one of the reasons I really recommend it. It's very kind of get your foot in the door friendly.
yeah, I'll say this wouldn't be my first convention, but it will be certainly my first BattleTech convention. The conventions I went to in the past have had, tens of thousands of participants, but it was always a chiller atmosphere. That's what I hung around with. I jumping from like panel to panel and seeing events is like it's good and all, but it's I get the most out of conventions just being able to sit down and actually be together with people. It's a whole different ball game when you're usually online friends. You can actually spend a weekend in person with them. So I've used conventions as an excuse to meet up from friends who are from out of the country. Heck, I spent like a couple of nights with a buddy of mine who's from Colorado. It was the first time we were able to meet, and it was all because of the convention atmosphere. It just gave us an excuse to be in one place for a weekend.
Yeah, it's always a good time to kind of get out and move around in the community and see what's going on and talk to people and meet new faces. You never know what you find.
Yeah.
All right. Any other games? Zemer, did you play any other games?
So I had the pleasure of playing Aces. I unfortunately wasn't able to make KSAG this year, but I did get the Aces boxes. So, I haven't played much games. I have started to play Aces myself. I ended up painting one of my boxes and gifting that to my brother as an early Christmas present. Here you go, bud. I miss you. Keep your BattleTech collection going. So he has one of my boxes. He has a lovely painted set of camo green Jade Falcons. With all the Op 4 that comes in that box.
Can't go wrong with green, right?
Can't go wrong with the green turkeys. Yep. I do want. I have Gamma Galaxy done up in like a mountain forest camo. At least that's what I'm coining it as. The other Aces box I have, I want to try to replicate that paint job again because those are the best clan mechs I've ever painted. In my opinion, I just love them to death.
Cool, love it. And
right.
you've been playing through the Bungle Tech thing as well, right?
Yes, I've been playing through the Bungle Tech thing. Brent and I have been doing that on stream. We put it on the back burner for now after Thanksgiving because there's a whole lot of stuff going on in December with the holidays. So we'll be picking up missions 9 and 10 of the Bungle Tech campaign in January. So from the time of recording, those missions aren't quite out yet, but hopefully soon they'll be out. We can finish that campaign. We absolutely look forward to it. Me and Brent are like, man, we need our fix. We really miss doing tabletop on the streams. Like It's been great. Like, I am so glad people are all here for it, and they come in onto Of Mechs and Men on Twitch and hang out with us as we're just playing tabletop. We've been doing Alpha Strike Classic, Hexless Classic, which is interesting. It's the first time I've ever tried to play it myself. Still a little weird for me to wrap my head around it. Like, I've told Brent, I think it absolutely works like in person. It's just on Tabletop Simulator. I think it's a little funny for me.
Yeah. You guys do that on Wednesdays, right? Is that usually when?
Wednesdays are the days we usually do tabletop. I don't want to promise anything because there's some shakeups at my work. I might not be available for Wednesdays, but tentatively, that's still the plan. Wednesdays is going to be the tabletop stream. Obviously, if there's a change in the Discord, Brent's going to put out some sort of announcement on any changes to the streaming schedule.
Very cool. I look forward to having a little bit more time to catch the streams next in January. So yeah, hope to be there.
Yep. And I love to see anybody who stops in, even if you're just coming in to say hi. You know, usually you can find some sort of silly shenanigans. It wasn't too long ago that one of the campaign missions ended up in a not exactly a patrol. It was, it was an honorable Cretan versus a mercenary leader, and the Cretan decided, you know what, I'm gonna just challenge you to a one-on-one duel. You, me. Don't keep shooting my second command who failed her PSR and is like sitting on her face surrounded by a Locust 2C and a javelin. We'll sell this like adults. It's a good time. It's a good time.
All right. I think that wraps up our return and report. All right. Arms dealer update. From Ares Games and Minis. Got some new stuff coming in. Battle Foam is on our list. Plus, I just noticed he put up 2 posts today for Baron of Dice. They have a complete line of Baron of Dice math rocks over there at Ares Games and Minis. So go over there and check those out.
Yeah, the one thing I've been waiting for is they carry a lot of the Death redesign stuff, and they have this Water and Trees reversible, like flappy neoprene terrain or something like that for Alpha Strike, and he just got it back in stock. So I'm currently putting it in my cart because I think it's cool. It looks great, and you can just carry it. I mean, it's super small and flat, so you can just throw it in your box when you want to go play some Alpha Strike. So that's awesome stuff.
Cool.
I would love to point out as well, the BattleTech Aces Scouring Sands is available at Ares at this current moment. It comes in and out of stock, but last time I checked, he had 75 units in stock. I'm looking at it right now, and he has over a dozen still in there. And I think he's getting like regular shipments of it coming in. So if you haven't gotten Scouring Sands for yourself, I can't recommend it enough. Even if you just want the AO, the automated opposition cards, I think it's absolutely worth it. He has it for an incredibly reasonable price, and the mechs that come in the box are pretty cool too.
Yeah, I mean, I got multiple sets of the aces just because I wanted extra cards, so I could run multiple sets of, the ambushers or whatever. But then when you're reading through the rules, they're like, well, you can customize your deck. You can have just like a bunch of ones, card 1 and card 2 of the ambusher out of 6 cards. So, that appeals to me also. So, yeah, if you guys can, get out to Ares.
Yeah, just look around. I think Ares is going to have a consistent stock, like as I've been checking, because I've been eyeing up Ares, looking for more of the Ironwood Metals minis. Unfortunately, Brent's infected me with the bug. For the longest time, I kind of looked at the metal miniatures. I was like, they're way too expensive. But looking at, there are some like really handsome looking designs that I don't think we're gonna get in plastic anytime soon. some like clan vehicles, some even I have sitting in my cart right now a mech recovery vehicle. I don't think we're going to see this in plastic anytime soon, but it's such a neat looking model. It's like great. I love having things to like decorate my board that isn't explicitly like a terrain piece, like buildings and hills and whatnot. I just love clutter. It can really sell a scene.
All right. I think that concludes our arms dealer update. Let's get into the main metal. We ready?
Let's do this.
All right. So today on the main metal, we're talking with Topa on kind of a Michigan community, how the community's going in Michigan, what he's seen over there, and then we'll get into probably some demo team discussions. But so let's start off with, Topa, you're in Michigan.
Yep.
And what's going on in Michigan? Where do you guys play at? What are you guys into? What's going on there?
So, personally, I live in Battle Creek, in about an hour east of me, in Jackson, Michigan. My cousin, one of my best friends from high school, and we opened up what's called an event tournament center, where we aren't a store, even though we do sell some product, but really what we're doing is we're just renting out tables for players to come play. And we're taking all types of games. We're taking, I know this is not the right subject, but like Pokemon and other card games and miniature games. And so I'm running BattleTech out there, and so is a gentleman by the name of Tom Sprang. So we're, flipping back and forth every other weekend playing BattleTech. We've got about 8 to 10 players that come, and just we play. Sometimes we play Solaris Melee Challenge. Sometimes we'll do scenarios. Sometimes we'll just we'll do a grinder and just roll some dice. So we were like 6 players, but over the last year since the Mercenary Kickstarter came out, we've grown to about 10 players. We get them from all over the state. Jeff Stone comes down every once in a while. We've got a gentleman that comes literally like 3 hours because he has nowhere else to play. He's up in the upper part of the Lower Peninsula. So if you look at your left hand at the back of it, at the joint of your index finger, that's where that guy lives, and he drives 3.5 hours in good weather to come down and play with us. And he was doing it like almost twice a month. He's cut back a little bit because of life. Things happen to all of us, but we've got a pretty good community in Jackson. I'm starting to getting a community here in Battle Creek. More players are picking up BattleTech, and they want to learn how to play it. Or like Bill Kim, who came to KSAGG, he lives here in Battle Creek too, and so he's helped introducing BattleTech to some new players. I'm introducing BattleTech to some new players. We're trying to get a league started. We're trying to get together and just run scenarios, just to get people interested in the game. Hour west of us in Kalamazoo, there's a group playing there every Wednesday. Jeff Stone's an hour north of me in Grand Rapids. Lansing's got a good solid BattleTech group. So does Detroit. But then as you get further north of Michigan, past Lansing, past Grand Rapids, you got players, but they just aren't able to find each other. So, that was one of the reasons why I started the Michigan BattleTech Network on Facebook, to try to get all these players together to, find each other and be able to play the games. And it's made some success. It's, helped people find us in Jackson, Kalamazoo, and Grand Rapids, and in Detroit. A lot of players in Detroit to get together and just roll some dice.
Nice.
That's awesome. I know that here in Colorado, we I think a lot of the kind of growth, or at least for people to find each other, Facebook and Discord have been huge. Wouldn't you say, Ben?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I know our Colorado Discord page is huge. It's got a lot of people in it, and they're always chatting about stuff all the time. So, is there any thought to like trying to get full-time campaigns going in Michigan, or?
So we're going to try to do that here in Battle Creek. I know, like in Jackson, we will either play Solaris or we'll play Grinder. But the other thing that we're doing is we're playtesting scenarios. So like Tom is running a lot of Alpha Strike narrative events. He's going to be running some at Adepticon. I think he's going to try to run some at Origins and maybe at Gen Con. But the big thing that he's doing is he's playtesting it to make sure the forces are balanced. Let me think. Is there anybody? Kalamazoo, I don't think, is running any campaigns. They're just, last time I played there, they were doing, bring 15,000 BV and let's just smash each other. Maybe put some objectives out and go there. I'm not sure about the group up in Grand Rapids. The people in Detroit, they're big. They're more big into tournament scenes, tournament events. So like Alpha Strike 350 or Southern Assault Rules format, or Bill Kim's Alpha Strike Open format. They're more towards that over in Detroit. We do have a couple of agents that are running some narrative events. So it may not necessarily be a campaign, but they're doing some narrative events over there too.
Okay, nice. Any questions from Matt or Zemer on Michigan scene?
Yeah, you were mentioning events. So I know that Steve from over on the Mech Bay podcast runs an event up there in Detroit, Motor City Mayhem. Is there any other kind of routine or annual events that happen there in Michigan?
There's a Michigan GT that happens in October. This year it fell on the same weekend that LVO is happening on. But we're trying to get a BattleTech presence there. There's a gentleman by the name of Tim Kopp who does a Drafted for War tournament on Sundays. Bill Kim does his Alpha Strike Open tournament, like I think Friday or Saturday, and then Chris Inge did his narrative. He did a campaign narrative over the weekend, which, from what I heard, was pretty good and a lot of success. So there's the Michigan GT. We have happening once a month. Matter of fact, tomorrow night it's happening. There are a set of BattleTech pods in Kalamazoo. And so once a month they try to get, during the wintertime, spring and fall, they'll open it up to everybody. You make a donation to help pay for the storage, and you just sit there and play the BattleTech pods all night as much as you want. And they also have some BattleTech games going up on the second deck. So that's happening a lot too. So like I said, tomorrow night it's going on.
Very cool. Very cool. I have yet to get into one of those, but I saw him at Adepticon and almost got into him there. But I know we have some. Ben and I need to get to one. There's apparently someone that has one or two here in Colorado. So
yeah, you get in one. Where they're at here in Kalamazoo, they're just in a storage, rental storage, and he just opens it up and off you go.
That's cool. Another question I had. Oh, no, it just left my mind. But what do you think you guys need in Michigan to like grow more, or is there? Do you feel that you're obviously talking about getting players kind of slowly out of these areas? Is it just more like the communication between each other, or because I know sometimes you've got like a lot of players in a state, but you don't necessarily have a lot of players playing routinely. Is it just kind of you need to have more local groups, or what do you kind of see as any barriers to BattleTech growing in Michigan?
I think it's just letting players know that if they're going into a store and they're buying BattleTech, that the store owners are like, hey, we've got a group that plays here, once a month or every other week or something like that. I I think it's also, going out to your local game store and just looking for some advertisement. I think that's the big thing, is communicating to the players that are out there. Hey, we're here. Come play our games. Everyone is very open. Everyone is very friendly. They're more than willing to help players learn how to play the games. I don't think we have that going against us. It's just a matter of knowing that we're out there and where to find us to play.
Yeah, and that actually, it reminded me of the question I did have. You guys have good stores kind of carrying BattleTech and stuff there in Michigan, your area, other areas?
I haven't been to the store in Kalamazoo in a while. The big store that here in Michigan that sells a lot of it is IRW in Detroit. And I haven't really been to any of the hobby stores up in Grand Rapids. I need to get out more.
Take a tour, right?
Yeah. There's a store up in Lansing that does have a large collection of BattleTech for sale. And it's what is it called? I can't remember what it is, but they're in Michigan or in Lansing, and they do a lot with Catalyst. Richard Ankley, he's the store owner, and he knows a lot of the people that are in Catalyst, so he does a lot of networking with them. So they have a pretty good presence in Lansing. So that I know of is Detroit and Lansing have the game stores that sell it.
That's great. I mean, it's hard to develop groups if there's nowhere to like purchase the stuff or even just see the stuff kind of on the shelves where you're playing games. So that's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, Topa, I might have to pick your brain a bit later about this, but I have a very good friend who lives in Saline, Michigan, which isn't too far out of Detroit.
Uh-huh.
I remember I was talking to him about my BattleTech scene in Pennsylvania, and there was a little bit of miscommunication. He works at a game store, and his boss ended up trying to contact me to do demo games. They run RU Game in Saline, Michigan. It's a nice little shop, and they're doing incredibly well for themselves. But they want to get into the BattleTech scene, and really the only thing that's holding them back is like they just need somebody to step in there and show people the game.
Yeah.
Somebody to come in with the minis and just sit down, like, come on in.
Yep.
That's what they need. That's what I've heard, at least in the Michigan side of things. And I feel like that's a reoccurring theme with a lot of places to just get going. It's what I had to do in Pennsylvania at where I used to play in person. It just comes down to somebody sitting down, just being able to teach and willing to show people the game that we love.
So I'm going to kind of blur the topic lines because now I'm going to put my CDT hat on as the XO of CDT, right?
Heck yeah.
If you're a store out there and you're looking for somebody to help run or introduce your players to BattleTech, email demoteam@catalystgamelabs.com. Tell us that you're looking for somebody, and I will go through our spreadsheet of agents, and I will. I usually send an email blast to all the agents that are in that state because I have no idea, except for Michigan. I have no idea like where this city is compared to where the agents are, and so I'll just send them an email blast and say, "Hey guys, can one of you guys help the store out, or can one of you guys help the convention out?" But yeah, most definitely have your friend reach out to me. And I'll make the trip out there to Saline, Michigan, and I'll run some stuff or do some demos if they got some players that are interested. Or the cool thing about, and I think it's really any of the groups that are here in Michigan, we're willing to go to another store to help promote the game. I know that the guys that I play with in Jackson, and I think some of the guys that are here in Battle Creek, like Bill Kim, Jeff Stone up in Grand Rapids. I know that my group will go to Saline and just sit there and play some BattleTech just to get some interest, just to introduce the players to it. We did that for a store in Flint because there was a kid that was on the Facebook group and he was looking for players. He says, I've got no one to play with. And so we got in our minivans and drove up to Flint and we played a game with him for an afternoon. So I know that I'm willing to do that, and some other guys are willing to do that.
Yeah, I'll definitely hit him up tonight, and I'll make sure some emails are sent.
Yeah, cool.
And actually, kind of connecting to this, if anybody wants to become a demo agent, like what's that barrier for entry look like?
So really, all you have to do is we have a CDT webpage that gives you some descriptions on how to become an agent and how to apply for it. If you can't find the webpage, if you go out there and do CDT or Catalyst Demo Team webpage, you should be able to find it in Google. If you can't find it in Google, email demo team at Catalyst Game Labs, and we will send you an application or a link to apply to become an agent. If you have a friend or if you know somebody that's an agent and they refer you, mention that in the application, and we'll reach out to the agent and sort of do a background check on you. Say, hey, how is this guy doing? Do you think he's a good fit for the CDT? Is he a good fit for the community? And if that agent comes back to us and says yes, that helps fast track your application to becoming an agent. If you don't know anybody that's an agent, we'll still accept you. We're going to ask a couple of questions like, hey, can you show us some painted minis? What kind of scenarios are you running? Sort of just to get a feel of how much effort they're actually putting into running games at their local store. Because we do have some limited rule. We have some rules that limit us to you have to have painted minis if you're providing the minis for the game. The entry barrier there is not a lot of commitment to it. I was listening to you guys last month, the previous podcast, and I can't remember what the gentleman's name was, but he lives out in LA and was thinking about becoming an agent, but didn't want to make that commitment because he didn't know how much commitment there was to it, or if he would be able to fulfill that commitment. And really, at the entry level for an agent, it's run one game a year. That's it.
Wow.
Just run one game, report it, and you're good for the year. If you come to a tier 1 convention like Origins or Adepticon or Gen Con, your requirement is fulfilled. And all it is just 8 hours. If you want to get a badge to help us out, you have to put 8 hours in. And that could be spread throughout the entire weekend of the con. Like say Gen Con, right? Thursday, Friday, you put 4 hours in both days. Your commitment for the year is done.
So it's sounding to me like that barrier isn't nearly as high as some people might assume. And I'm assuming like when you ask for like painted minis, you're not looking for like camo specs level paint jobs. You're just looking for like, is there a primary, a secondary, and a tertiary color, right?
Yeah. Are they putting some effort to put some minis on the board that are painted? Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
Table quality.
Table quality, yeah.
Quality, yeah.
I call that matte quality. Yeah.
We're never going to deny somebody based off of their minis, how well they're painted. And, the cool thing is that we do have a mentoring program in the Catalyst demo team. So if somebody's like, hey man, I'm struggling to paint, or, how to paint, how do I do this? We can hook them up with other agents that do well with painting. If they're struggling with scenarios, and if they come back and say, hey, you know what, I'm not very good at scenario writing, I'm just running grinders at my store. I appreciate the honesty and them coming forth with that. I'm not going to hold them back from that. But we have agents that are writing scenarios or coming up with event types, or they could even use a lot of the events that we have stored up on our shared drive, and we'll get to that in a second about the shared drive, that they can pull from. And we're there to help the agents succeed, not scare them away from running games because no one else is.
Yes.
I've never. Oh, go ahead, Ben.
I was going to say, now that Topa's officially put his CDT hat on,
Yep.
let's get into the CDT side. And so we've talked about, it's not even really barriers to entry. It's more just like, hey, here's the minimum requirements you need to be an agent, kind of thing.
Yep.
What for our listeners, what resources are available? You talked about a drive of things. What resources are available for agents to help make them successful?
So I'm gonna put this out there right now. We are having some issues with our level 2 agent drive. We've reached the maximum number of agents that we can share that with, and so we have been for most of this year trying to find a solution to remedy that, or find another solution to replace that. So I'm going to put that out there for all those level 1 agents that are listening and going, I want my level 2 drive access. Trust me, I know I've got your names on a list when you report it. I know who you are, and as soon as we get it fixed, you're going to get your level 2 access. But what we have out there are the rules for all of our events. We have rules for the grinder. We have rules for not the rules for the grinders, but we have the sheets for the grinders out there. We have rules for the open tournament. We have rules for raise your flag. So all the events that we're running out there. We also have a section out there, and matter of fact, I'm going to pull it up just so I can look at it. We offer the PDFs to the agents at the level 2 drive for them to pull down. So if they need the most recent version of Total Warfare, they can pull it down. They can pull down the PDF format without having to go out and buy a new book. And I know, I'm going to get myself in trouble because people are going to be like, I want my level 2 drive access. Trust me, I'm trying. We are trying. Michael Saravella and I are trying to get this resolved for you guys. We aren't just letting it set to the side. Every chance I get, I'm asking how we can get it fixed. But to get back on track, we have agent created resources. There's a BattleTech scenario writing book in there, a planning worksheet for your scenarios. And I'm thinking that maybe a lot of the stuff I might push down to the level 1 drive for the agents as I'm looking at it. There's a couple of scenarios in here for BattleTech. We have convention information. So what to do at a tier 1, tier 2, what to expect. We have board game rules up there. We have a lot of information up there that I really, really want to get out to the agents, the level 1 agents, because some of them are struggling out there trying to come up with stuff, trying to do stuff, and I want to get it out there for them. Michael's stated in every agent update that he sends out every month that, hey, if you're looking for something, email us, and we will try to see if we can find it and try to get it to you in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of those tools there to just make it easy to have events or to have games like you're hearing about elsewhere, right? Like, oh, that sounds awesome. I wish we could do that here. That's what a lot of these resources are for the demo agents to be able to put together these games or whatnot. Could be in larger events or could just be in your local play group, and then you get to do what you heard about, on a podcast, on a YouTube video, or something like that, which I think is great with these shared resources. You can get that shared experience as well.
Yeah, so just for example, I'm looking at the BattleTech event guides that we have here. We've got the Alpha Strike Super Heavy game that Eric Goodman runs all the time, every year. It always sells out. Everyone has a blast running a Super Heavy with support units, blowing each other up. We've got the BattleTech missions that James Kirtley runs. Very popular. We're running 3 tables of it, and every year we sell out, and people want more of those. The BattleTech missions. We've got the BattleTech open rules. We've got the Solaris Melee Challenge rules that are out there. Raise your flag. So we have a lot of things out there for the agents. And I'm going to stress again, forgive me if I sound like a broken record, but you level 1 agents that are out there listening to this podcast, email us at the demo team if you're looking for something, and we will get it to you. We know that you guys are wanting that information. We'll get it to you guys.
And we talked about KSAGG as kind of the first half of the episode here. Where can players maybe see these other events that they're hearing about now? You're hearing the names. Where can I actually play this thing that I'm hearing about now? Where Like what maybe cons or whatever would we generally see these at?
So we normally advertise like on Tuesday Newsday and on our Facebook page some of the conventions that we're going to. We may not advertise like what events we're doing, but we'll advertise that, hey, we're going to be there at this convention. So like Nova Open earlier this year, back in October, we were there, and I think we advertised that. So that's really the big thing. And I think the XP Network, and don't hold me to this, guys, because I'm not up to speed on the XP Network right now because they're still working out deals or working out the details between CGL and the XP Network. But I think eventually we're going to be like advertising our events there and reporting our events there, I think. Don't hold me to that. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And Ceravella will slap me down for that. But I think the XP Network is going to play a big role in us advertising our events.
So
where? Oh, go ahead, Jen.
Go ahead, Matt.
I was just about to say, kind of, you hear, oh, you're going to be there. I just wish there would be a follow with like, these are the named events that are going to be there. That's on like Tuesday Newsday or other things like that, because then it gives you like, oh, okay, I know that, or oh, that sounds awesome. I've heard about that. Now I really want to go. So yeah, that was just something I was thinking.
No, it's I think we're gonna I think we talked at KSAGG about, maybe, Michael or I could hit the circuit of the podcasts before the conventions and talk to everyone out there about what our events are going to be. Because to be honest, like I mentioned earlier, January 4th event registration starts happening for Gen Con. So, what I'm going to be doing during the 2 weeks of Christmas break is I'm going to be figuring out the table space and what events are going to be going on what tables. So we'll know what events we're running and how often or how big. So, it's just a matter of us advertising it, getting the word out there.
Can we chat about XP Network for a second? I know that's a new thing. I don't have a lot of information about it.
Neither do I.
A lot of information. Okay. I wasn't sure if you had any insight into it or anything like that. So
nope. I signed up for it. I haven't really played around with it. To be honest, I haven't really taken the time to do. Apparently, there's some training that you have to do for event registrations or events. So I haven't really had the time the last 2 months to do that. I'm hoping probably I'll have some time during this Christmas break to do that. But I'm sorry, Ben, but I don't have really much information about the XP Network.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I was just curious. I know there's been a lot of traffic online about it. I haven't dived into it, so I'm more of any type of new program or something like that. I'm always a wait and see kind of guy before I jump right into it at first. So,
but as far as I understand, it's just supposed to be kind of a site for players and organizers to kind of get this information, right? And to also be able to coordinate events and games, and then to have kind of in the background some sort of benefit to that, to kind of operating on this system. So I guess maybe that's a very like step back, large scale shot of what it is. I haven't dived in. How would you say that? I haven't dived into it either.
Yeah, I think you're right, Matt, on that point, because there were, you could earn points during that first week in December of attending some of their seminars or some of their events, and those points can be used to purchase merchandise. Okay. So I'm, because I think when I registered, they asked for my account for the Catalyst Game Store Lab, and my email address for stuff like XP or for the demo team is different than what my email address is for the Catalyst Games Lab store. So I think I brought that up to Michael Ceravella, and I think they're working that part out on how you can have two different email addresses for two different websites, and how that's going to work together. So I think they're working on that part of it for the XP Network.
Yeah, that's to me is like it's got this kind of initial push a great idea, and then they're just working through the kinks and a lot of this other the details, right? And then that's what I hope is that, if people want to adopt it and use it, that it can function in a way that it benefits instead of hinders.
So I mean, I think the cool thing about the XP network that if I'm hearing everything correctly about it, is that you're going to be able to run a tournament on the XP network and score it. And I know that they had some troubles with the WolfNet 350 scoring. I think it broke their system, or the system just wouldn't work well with it. And I think they were working on trying to make that happen, since that's one of our premier events. I think that's going to lead to possibly a leaderboard, right, for organized play, similar to what they used to have for the WizKids Dark Age minis game. Every event that you attended for WizKids, your name got reported, and how many games you played and what your score was, and you got put on this leaderboard. And I think the top 10 players got an automatic invite to nationals for WizKids Dark Age. I'm not saying that the same thing is going to happen for the XP network, but I think that there's potential to have an Alpha Strike 350 singles leaderboard across the world, or Drafted for War leaderboard across the world. Think about how exciting that would be to have that kind of recognition for BattleTech when we've never had that before.
Yeah, and I just think anything that can bring people together, if it's just the motivation that it provides, if it's something like that, I see it as a benefit as long as there's it just seems good as described to me so far. But I think there's a lot to see and a lot to be worked through, so that's good. So I'll ask a question, Topa.
Okay.
So stepping way back, kind of the old 20,000 miles away from the Earth type vision, kind of what's your vision for the CDT, and how do you think it can help BattleTech to keep growing and becoming better?
So I'll speak on the mini side. I am the XO for the demo team under Michael Saravella. The board game division under Andy Cohen, they're doing their thing. But for the minis, for BattleTech, I really would like to start seeing, one of the big things is having events for players to bring their own forces, to bring their painted minis. Right now, a lot of our events at the Tier 1 cons are agent provided or CDT provided. I want to have a gambit of stuff. I want to have we have the agent provided games, right? The agents may have an event and the players bring their forces. They build their forces sort of like a Alpha Strike 350 format. They bring their force and they play in a scenario or a campaign, or it's a hybrid where the agent provides the op force and the players bring they bring their forces to play out the scenario. Because our players are spending a lot of money to play this game, and at first I was opposed to it. I was against it. It was like, no, there's balance. The agents are putting a lot of work into balancing their scenarios or balancing their games out. And the last thing we want to do is have our player bring in something that will throw that whole balance off. And I had that conversation with a couple of people on the Michigan BattleTech Network Facebook page. And then the more I think about it, and I look at my collection, it's like I'm showing off my collection every time I bring a game because I'm the one that's providing everything. But what about the bourbons of the world and their collection?
Yeah, just thinking about that, that's like, you get to see each person's personality in their painting and stuff or whatever they've got. Yeah.
So
I think it takes a little bit of the burden off of the event organizer too to provide stuff. Because I know from running events at Gen Con, there's a lot of events I'd love to run, but I'm like, I don't I don't have the luggage space on an aircraft to take the stuff I want to bring. You
don't want to paint another whole Turning Points force bend?
No, I really don't. I mean, that was a one-off kind of. I'll drive it to Vegas kind of thing, but being able to do that and have players bring their own stuff, is kind of the pinnacle for an event organizer, because there's not a lot of heavy lifting that the event organizer needs to do with that,
No. And I'm not saying that's what we're going to be going to, is where all the events are only what the players bring.
Right.
I still see value in the agents providing all the minis, right? But I kind of want to go that way. And I really would like to see us have a website, and I think it's coming. I think it's coming with the XP network, where we're going to be able to advertise, hey, go here, look up the stores that are in your city, and there are BattleTech games going on here. It's going to alleviate what we were talking about earlier about going to a store and the agents hanging up a flyer. Because that's what I did here in Battle Creek for like 3 years. Is I hung up a flyer saying, hey, if you're interested in learning how to play BattleTech, and this was before the Clan Invasion Kickstarter happened. If you're interested in learning how to play BattleTech, email me. I never got a reply. 3 years. And then the Mercenary Kickstarter came out, and the store owner was like, hey, I'm going to start carrying BattleTech. Can you start running demos? Sure, no problem. But I think if we had a website, and like I said, it's coming. If we had a website that would list all the stores and the events that are going on, people could find it, because they're more than likely going to search the internet for something than go down to the store and see if something's happening.
Yeah, totally agree. I think anything you can do to get that, kind of organized on an online basis really benefits kind of the in-person kind of end result, I guess. So what you've described, I think, would be incredible just to have that out there. And I really like the emphasis on, people are buying all this, some people call it plastic crack, and I kind of get that. It could be metal as well, but they have all this, I collect, I've got one of everything, at least the plastics, but when I don't necessarily paint until I have an event to paint for. And so, that's my own failing, but it is the motivation that pushes me to get paint on those minis and finish them up rather than just leaving them in a pile in my garage. So it not only allows me to demonstrate or show what I've got, but it also pushes me a little bit to continue to improve on my hobby. So I really enjoy the events for that as well.
Come on, Matt, you're supposed to paint for the sake of painting.
For
the love of the game.
I still haven't gotten to the loving that part of it yet. I'm not, I didn't. BattleTech's the only miniature stuff that I paint, so I'm always like, I'm definitely the contrast paints guy of the group, and so it's okay. It's growing on me slowly, but I really enjoy the push for me to do it, because then I'm like, oh, I have to do this. And I won't just take a force that's already painted, because that's my limit, right? And so, no, it's great. It's my motivation. I think it motivates others too, especially to do that extra level of painting beyond what they would normally paint. I mean, I go to some of the events like KSAGG, Adepticon, others, but what I see there, I'm like, wow, this is incredible. We had Desert Hot Drop and had some really unique pieces. People had, there was a mech surfing on a surfboard on one of the bases. I mean,
that's sweet.
Just incredible stuff that wouldn't happen were there no large events occurring. So I really enjoy it for that motivation to kind of excel in particular parts because of these events.
See, since I moved back up to Michigan, let me think, it's 2025, so 13 years ago, I moved back up to Michigan. I'm not as active as I was when I lived in Ohio, and now what I do is I, fill my time with painting. I take an hour every day, or try to do it every day, and I just do some painting and try to get some minis done.
Yeah, that's always
I need to do that, I guess.
We'll drag you into a call on one of these weekends and, force the camera on. We'll hold you to it.
Let me see what you're painting, Matt. You know.
I mean, I painted 4 lambs just for KSAGG.
4 lambs. And you get to use them.
I didn't get to use a single darn one of them.
Dang it.
Oh,
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of painting's my kind of stress relief from work anyways. I'll come home and throw some paint down for, a few minutes or an hour or so and get it out of the way, clear my head from work stuff. But
Yep.
I just lost the question I was going to ask. Dang it.
I was going to say, if anybody needs more motivation when you're listening to a podcast, it's a very auditory thing. You don't need your hands to listen to a podcast.
Nope.
Throw on the Valhalla Club and paint some minis.
Yep, most
Plenty
definitely.
of people do it. Join the club.
So let me throw a subject out there real quick. Since we talked about agents and the commitment, I want to talk about what our agents, what our agents are capable of doing, right? So, and this is sort of a kind of a selfish thing as the leader, as part of the leadership of the demo team, is that we have a need for agents to do a lot of things. I know that Michael Ciravella announced that we're forming up a new branch of agents called staff agents. Yes, I think they're staff agents, where they're going to be helping us out at the HQ, helping us do a lot of the paperwork, helping us collect information like, hey, we need to get these minis painted. What minis do you need? And then, taking the burden off of the leadership team to help streamline and efficiently get things done and ready for our conventions. I know that we are going to start looking for staff agents. We are also always looking for people that can paint well and are willing to help teach people how to paint, because we have a very popular event, the Paint and Take, that happens. We do it at Adepticon, we do it at Gen Con, and it always sells out. It's always a family-friendly event. We have dads bringing their kids and they're painting a mini, they're painting a mech, and they're taking it home. But we don't have a lot of agents that are helping. And I don't want to say that aren't helping. How do I say it? That we have assigned to that. That's the word I'm looking for. That we have assigned to it. So, if you're an agent out there and you're thinking about coming to Gen Con and you do an awesome job of painting, let us know. If you're thinking about joining the demo team, but maybe rules aren't your thing, but you'll enjoy playing BattleTech and you want to help out the demo team, we have the staff agent program. If you don't do well with the rules and you do well with painting, then you can come help us with painting and helping us teach how to paint. That's the key thing, is though that you've got to be able to teach how to paint, not just paint, because the very first thing that we are is like our academy and our boot camp is you have to have an outgoing personality, be able to teach people how to do the game or do the painting.
So you're not just going to paint like a star of mechs and then send it for somebody else. The expression is teaching a man how to fish, right?
Yes, exactly. Now we do have a need for people to paint for things like Masters and Minions, but we also have a need for people to help teach, because I think at Gen Con there were we only had 3 people running the paint and take, right? And we were running it from 10 to 8 every day, or 10 to 10 every day, and it was a 2-hour session, and they were helping 10 to 12 people every session. It was selling out every time. And so I want to let our listeners out there, your listeners know out there, that hey, there are different things that we could use you for to help grow the BattleTech community under the CDT. Running games, helping teach how to paint, painting. because we have, Masters of Minions and a bunch of other events that we need to have painted minis for our games.
Yeah, it's easy to forget, like, the BattleTech hobby is more than just, putting the stompy plastic robots on the tabletop. There's a lot of other things that are taught and learned for the hobby. Well, thank you for sharing that. Like, not gonna lie, we talked earlier about conventions and whatnot. I might try to throw my hat into more of what you're talking about right now. Not so much running the games, but helping with the painting side of things. That sounds incredibly interesting.
Yeah. So if you want to do that, if you have some interest out there in joining the demo team and you're interested in doing the painting, or if you're interested in doing the staff, again, email us at demo team. If you're interested in helping out with painting, provide some pictures of your painted minis, and I or Michael Ciravella will forward it on to our paint lead. We actually have an agent that is a paint lead for the demo team. So she'll scrutinize your painting and maybe offer some feedback, or if she really likes what you're doing, maybe bring you on board for helping out with the paint take, or for painting minis for us. I know a couple of the guys that are here in Jackson, Michigan. He helped out at Adepticon for painting and Gen Con 2 years ago, and now he's on her team for teaching the paint take. So it's just as simple as that. Just provide us some samples of what you do, and we'll see what we can do to help you out with that. Get you going down that pathway.
And awesome. Topa, what's the email address if they want to send you an email, or send the demo team lead an email?
Michael Ciravella's is mciravella@catalystgamelabs.com, or you can send it to the demo team at catalystgamelabs.com. Both Ciravella and I check that one at least weekly. During the month of December, it's been a little hard, a lot of things going on, but I try to check it once or twice a week. I know Ciravella is jumping in there a lot more than I am. So, because I work for the government, and they won't let me get access to stuff like that from the government computer.
I feel your pain.
Yeah.
Well, I think something needs to be said here too about, just since we're on the topic of paint and take and trying to get new people in here. One of the processes I know, because I've been a part of the demo team for a while and inspirited, if not officially, but as a new person coming in for an event, it's not going to be a case where you're just kind of thrown to the wolves and you're just on your own kind of thing. You're going to have somebody there that has ran that event multiple times, if not right there at the table with you, to kind of guide you through that process. And it's not a case of, hey, that's your table over there, we'll see you in 2 hours kind of thing. You're going to have somebody there that's probably going to help guide you through the first couple of sessions, and then you're on your own at that point, once you've proven your ability to run things. So, I don't want anybody to get the idea that, I paint really well, but I don't want to run this by myself kind of thing. You're going to have more people there.
Most definitely, Ben. Yeah, you're right. We're not going to just throw you to the wolves. I've done that only once, and that was at Origins last year, only because the agent, and it was his first time volunteering with us. He had run Alpha Strike 350 events at his store, so he knew the rules. And what I did was I watched him run a Drafted for War tournament, and he did an awesome job with it. And so it's like, okay, hey, I've got things I've got to do for the demo team. The Alpha Strike 350 tournament's yours. And he's like, really? I was like, yeah. And so he went, and he didn't, he had 4 players because just because of some things that happened at Origins, we had 4 players, but he still ran it, and the players had fun, and now he's going to be running the Total Warfare narrative events at Adepticon. So I'm not going to throw you the wolves. Ciravella's not going to throw you guys to the wolves. unless we really have to, right? If the lead all of a sudden gets sick at Gen Con, it may be, hey, you're running this, but come see me if you have any questions. Come see me if you have any concerns. We'll be there to help you. Come see any of the other agents that are running things around you for help, and they'll help you out, because that's the great thing about the group is that they're willing to help everyone out. Along that same lines, Ben, based on the feedback that we got from a senior agent when I first came on board as leadership, was orientation. You know, how you get into a company, you have an orientation, right? So once a quarter, we try to have a new agent orientation to allow the new agents to ask questions. We fill them in on how things work for getting signed up for a tier 1 con, or some of the benefits of being an agent. So that's from some of the feedback that we received. I think it was last year, because I think we started it last fall. But yeah, we're realizing that there are a bunch of new agents out there that don't know what to do at their store, that don't know, how to get new players, or what to do if a player all of a sudden goes berserk because their dice are only rolling 2s. That's what that orientation is for, and I think it's helping out a little bit for the agents, because it's putting them at ease, hopefully, and giving them some ideas or guidance. And also, they get to spend time with Ciravella, who is a famous author and the lead for the CDT, and then me, who's behind the scenes. It's a face that they get to know, and maybe they feel a little bit more comfortable reaching out to us if they do have something, so that way we can help them out.
Yeah, and I mean, I've run events at Gen Con and at DepthCon and stuff like that, and it's something for people that haven't been to a big con. I mean, it's not one of those cases where you're thrown in a room all by yourself, and like, you don't want to leave the room, but you have questions, you're not unsure. You're in a huge room, and there's at least 10 to 15 dudes running around there that are demo agents, that if you have questions, you can be like, hey, can you come here for a second? I don't know how to do this, or
Yep.
hey, I got this question about how this person is behaving or something like that. How do I address it? Do I don't? All those kind of things. So if you're a new agent, if you're thinking about becoming an agent, it's one of those things where this is not like your local game store when you go to the big conventions and things like that. So
yeah,
don't get cold feet from that.
Yeah, most definitely.
So
ahead,
one more question for me, and I'll shut up, I promise. So Topa, what are some of your favorite game modes or events that CDT runs? Ones that you really enjoy playing in or running?
It's near and dear to my heart, and it's Solaris, because I ran that for 10 years. And I, was the rules arbitrator for that. That is really, it's a blend of RPG and BattleTech. Because you build a pilot from the ground up, and I try to take it to the final 8 and try to win the Solaris Melee Challenge. It's a lot of, I find it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of paperwork. There's a lot of crunchiness into it, because you've got to repair it's almost like a mini campaign too, because you got to repair your mech. You've got to educate your pilot. He's got to get new skills. You've got to earn fame. You got to jump into a stable and get other special abilities from the stables that you could sort of backstab your fellow players with. Like, I think there's one of Jeremy Wayans now running that, and he's doing a great job with it. And I think he still has one of the events where if you're part of a stable, and this comes back to the Godfather thing, where you're in with the union, the technician union, and if somebody's trying to leave the board on Solaris, if you have the ability, you can stop them from leaving the board that turn, because you have inside contacts. But it's that kind of backstabbing that I really enjoy about Solaris. I never really got to play it much when I was running it at the conventions, but just playtesting. I mean, we would playtest it for 9 months 8 to 9 months when I was running it, just to make sure that we balanced everything out with the rules and some of the special abilities that we put into the game. So I put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into that, and it's still near and dear to me.
So are these one-on-one mech fights?
No, it's an arena. It's
okay.
So when I was running it, you would put out 10 tokens, 10 elevators that you would come out of, or you would put out, let me think, 8 gates on the very edges of the board, and you would come up or come through the gate, and it's a free for all. You're fighting everyone that's on the table, and when somebody gets a hip crit, it's blood in the water, and everyone goes after that person because they want to. They want to get the money, they want to get the C-bills, they want to get the fame and the character points to be able to improve their pilots.
Man, so what you're describing here sounds like almost exactly like something I used to run for new players at a local store. Just the mechanics and everything. That's wild.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, look up Solaris Melee Challenge. You'll find it on the internet. And find the latest rules. There's a whole rule packet that talks about like customization of the mechs, because some of the Solaris pilots had customized mechs, right? So you can do that with the mech. You can join the stables. You can join the stables, and what is the other thing that they had in Solaris? They also have a whole swath of special abilities that you can buy, like Contortionist. And some of it is, to be honest, to be honest, some of the special abilities are similar to the special abilities that are in the TAC Ops book, right? So there's one that's called Contortionist. So instead of torso twisting one hex side, you could torso twist up to 2 hex sides. But then you're going to get a negative penalty if somebody kicks you, because you're torso twisting in a way that your mech wasn't meant to, and you're a little off balance.
That's cool. So were you for this game mode, I don't want us to stay on this topic for too long if you don't want to, but doing the Solaris stuff, were you using the like Solaris 7 game box rules, the mech duel rules, or was this just like Time of War?
So this was Time of War, but it was added. It's a subset of rules that are added on top of Total Warfare. They were initially written by Ben Rome. Let me see if I've got a copy of it somewhere. Yep, right here. Ben Rome wrote these rules back in 2005, and they have been used. I know that they were used like at least 5 or 6 years before I took it over in 2009. So Ben Rome wrote the rules, and then it was handed off to somebody else, and then that agent wasn't. He was giving it up because of life, right, and other things that were happening. Yeah. And so Mike Miller, who was the CDT lead at the time, knew about what I did for him for WizKids, and said, "Hey, I've got a rule set for you to take over, and will you do it?" I said, "Sure." And so next thing you know, I'm an agent for CDT, and I've got these rule sets, and I'm running it, and I would see how things go for the year, and it's like, hey, we got to change this because this is totally unfair. Because my thinking about games is it's always you got to try to make it fair for everybody, not just one person in the game. And so we would, Jeremy Wayan and James O'Laughlin, they would help me run the games at Origins and Gen Con, and we'd always travel together. So the hour trip back home from Origins, or the 2-hour drive back home from Gen Con, we would literally sit and talk about what happened during that con and come up with some ideas to remedy that, to fix it, to balance it out, or to come up with something new for it. And so that's where it came from. So it's been around. Yeah, it's been around for like a year. This will be the 30th year, actually. No, 25th year. 25th year that Solaris Melee Challenge has been around.
Wow.
That's a long time.
Crazy.
Not many game modes are around like that.
No, I mean Grinder is probably one of them, one of those ones that is, because it's gone through different different versions. But I remember playing Grinder at Origins in the mid 2000s, and so yeah, so Solaris and Grinder are probably the two longest running events that we have at CDT.
Very cool.
What else? What other things? I know we talked about some stuff at KSAGG about talking about. Can't remember what the hell it was. Anything you can think of off the top of your head, Topa, you want to talk about?
I mean, we're coming up with some. I know that this might excite some people, that we're in the process of updating or replacing some of the clan invasion mechs in the Grinder kit. So I've got a small committee that's going through that. So I'm hoping to have that ready for Gen Con of 2026. I know that I want to try to come up with a new tournament format for Total Warfare to go not side by side, but right now we have the BattleTech Open, and that is a popular event that was run by Alex Capon. And so he designed it and wrote it and was running it for a number of years. That's still a popular event. I think last year we had 22 players at it. But I want to come up with a tournament format, because the Open is, the minis are provided in pairings, and you just get to pick what pairing you want. I want to have a Total Warfare tournament that you can bring X number of BV and play for 90 minutes, and it'll be objective driven, sort of like Alpha Strike 350 singles or doubles. But you're bringing your own force. You're not going to be picking from a list of mechs and we print them out. You're gonna pick them out based off of era, based off of faction. Some of our previous Total Warfare tournaments that we've had that sort of fit this bill didn't take into account clan mechs and the BV costs that those had compared to Inner Sphere, and also used faction, or not faction, but force lance abilities. And
the formation abilities.
Yeah, the formation abilities. And the formation abilities don't have any point cost to it, right? But you're gaining benefits from those.
Yeah, so some of them are super broken.
Yes, exactly. And so I want to try to come up with a Total Warfare tournament that maybe, we'll leave it up to the tournament organizer how many BV they want. But let's say 10,000 BV, and it'll be a certain era, and you have to pay, you have to play a faction, but it'll be played on a neoprene hex map, and it'll be blank, and you're placing terrain on the board, sort of like Alpha Strike 350 or Drafted for War.
Mm-hmm.
And there'll be scenarios that you're going to be playing through. Is it asymmetrical or symmetrical? I can't remember which one it is. I think it's symmetrical. You'll have symmetrical objectives to meet. It's not going to be attacker defender.
They have the same objectives, so both have to destroy a bunker, or both have to grab a flag, something like that.
Yes, or King of the Hill, right?
Yeah.
But I also want to think about. I'm also thinking about trying to put in like secondary objectives, like get into. So like for Drafter for War, you've got kill your opponent, your forces. How much of your forces can you keep surviving? And then the third objective is get into your opponent's deployment zone to wreak havoc behind their enemy lines, right? Quote unquote, wreak havoc. I want to sort of have secondary objectives for this tournament, so that way it's not always the same thing, right? You may have to send a mech into your opponent's deployment zone for X number of turns to get a scan off or get a scan done and earn so many points. So, so those are some of the things that we're trying to do. We have also got a new format called contracts, where you're bringing your own force, your own mercenary force, based off of the hinterlands, where you've got a level 1 force, and you play that force the entire weekend, and you can grow it, or if you lose it, then you start all over again. But you're playing other players in that session. So we've got I'm trying to get some different formats for CDT going, so that way we can accommodate both Alpha Strike and the Total Warfare players.
Yeah, I'd be super excited for incorporating the Hinterlands mercenary campaign, because with a buddy of mine, we've been doing Brent from Of Mechs and Men. Mm-hmm. We've been doing those streams and also playing the Hinterlands campaign, and we're having tons of fun. So that just sounds exciting. I don't know how you would balance it for like a super serious tournament, but if there's a will, there's a way.
We wouldn't. The Contracts isn't a tournament. It's just it's just like a narrative event. You're just sitting down. So like if you and I, Zener, were coming to Gen Con, right, and we were participating in the Contracts event, you and I would play a contract, and then when our game is done, if there's enough time still in that 2-hour session or 4-hour session, we'd go get more. We'd go play another set of games with another set of players. Like you may play Bourbon and I play Matt.
Okay, incredible. All right,
but awesome. you're still running your mercenary unit in the Hinterlands and the Draconis Reach book that's coming out next year in that format.
Yeah, that sounds dope.
Yeah, so we're in the process. I think we're trying to get it formatted, trying to get the rule set formatted to match our rule books, so that way it has a CGL feel to it. So hopefully we'll have that finalized and ready to go for Gen Con.
Cool. And there's a chance this might appear at other places other than Gen Con, other conventions, correct?
Yes, most definitely.
All right. Cool. Yeah, I look forward to that.
Let me think, what else? That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Do you want to talk about any of the things that will people could see at AdeptCon? Because I think that's the next big one that Catalyst will be at, right?
Yeah, Catalyst will be at AdeptCon. We're going to have Grinder. We're going to have 4 tables of grinders going on. 2 tables of Raise Your Flag, which is like the grinder on steroids, because you're playing with lances instead of an individual mech.
Whoa.
It's
yeah.
And
is
based
this
off
still in Classic, or is this Alpha Strike?
It's Classic.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
So yeah, we've got that. We've got let me think. We've got BTCC tournament happening on Thursday. We have 52-person Alpha Strike 350 single tournament going on Saturday, which is going to be probably, if it sells out, it's going to be the largest Alpha Strike 350 tournament that we've had since they've been running for CDT. We got a 20-person doubles tournament, Alpha Strike 350. We got Leviathans. We're going to have Leviathans, their version of the grinder going on, their version of the boot camp playing, and I think they're also doing a weekend-long narrative campaign for Leviathans, so that's going to be going on. We'll have a weekend-long Alpha Strike and Total Warfare narrative event where I think for the Total Warfare, you're going to be playing either Davian or Karita, and you're going to bring your own force, your own Davian force or your own Karita force, or your own mercenary force. Play in those games, and it's going to be repair, refit, playing the same force between each one. If you're able to make every game, if you can't make every game, that's fine. I know that the agents are going to be prepared to have a force for players that are like, hey, I wasn't prepared for this. I'm just dropping in to see what's going on. Can I play? They should have forces available for you there. The Alpha Strike narrative event is going to be a Draconis Combine versus, I think it's Wolf's Dragoons or a mercenary unit. Anyways, they're attacking a Draconis Combine planet. You're going to be playing the Draconis, you're going to be playing Wolf's Dragoons or a mercenary unit force. It's going to be like, I think the PV is going to be like each player brings 200 PV.
Okay.
From a certain era. So again,
is it era locked to like Secession Wars, or is it more flexible than that?
Okay. Dark Age. I think it's locked to Dark Age. For the Alpha Strike one, and I think the Total Warfare is locked to Ill Clan. So
So the Davians versus Draconis Combine is going to be Ill Clan.
Yes.
Oh boy.
So I think the premise of it is that the Davians are trying to take back some of their planets that the Draconis Combine took over.
They're trying to beat back the Dragon's Tongue, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I will let you guys know that the theme for like our narrative events and for our tournaments, if it's possible, is the Draconis Reach, because we are tying that in with the Draconis Reach book that's coming out next year.
Very
so
cool.
So that's the reason why I'm saying Draconis Reach this or Draconis Combine this, Draconis Combine that, is because we're trying to get the players excited about that book that's coming out.
Yeah.
I like it when stuff gets themed around products that are coming out. I think that adds to it, because then every year it's a little bit different.
Oh yeah, most definitely. We have another event that I can't say anything about yet because it hasn't been finalized. Ben knows about it, but it will be tied to product also.
Ooh, sneaky.
Yeah, sneaky, and we're hoping to do a demo of it maybe in March, at an event in March, and then if it flushes out well, we may do it in conjunction with or side by side with Masters and Minions. We think that it's going to be that exciting to the players that we may be able to offer it as an alternative to Masters and Minions.
Wow, and March isn't that far away, so...
Nope, March is not that far away.
Definitely not.
But we've already got agents working on it and coming up with it. We just need to finalize some things in the background. Mr. Saravella is working on that, trying to get that finalized in the background. So
the main meat of this is all put together. That's all ready to go.
Yes, we've already pitched it to Mr. Saravella, and he was like on board. He was excited about it. Now it's just a matter of getting the resources to get it done. And I'll leave it at that.
I'll look forward to seeing whatever this is in a few months.
Yeah.
Mystery.
Yep. I like throwing that out there.
It's all right. We'll take him out back, hang him by his toes. We'll get the information out of him.
Not with my type of NDA. All right. What else? Anything else we want to talk about? Matt, do you think of anything we talked about at KSAGG that we haven't covered yet?
No, I think this is a great, introduction to CDT and talking about Michigan and stuff. So I think this has been great.
Yeah. Final thoughts, Topa? Anything?
No. I mean, if you're a listener out there and you're like, hey man, how can I help run more games at my event or at my store, and help make the BattleTech universe grow or make the BattleTech community grow, just reach out to me. Reach out to demo team at Catalyst Game Labs, and we'll hook you up. I mean, just for example, there's a gentleman by the name of Andy out in Ann Arbor, and the store that he was playing at was like, hey, we want to get BattleTech going. Can you come out and talk to us? So I went out and talked to him and gave them some ideas and, told him all this. And he was like, well, how do I become an agent? It's like, you're talking to the man. What do you want?
Here's the paperwork.
Yeah, here's the paperwork. So, yeah, it's just as simple as that. And, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to take that step, because you have a lot of people out there that are willing to help you out, help you grow, help you succeed. Because if you don't succeed, then the community doesn't succeed and grow. And that's what we want. We want this community to grow and be successful.
Absolutely.
And I'll get off my soapbox and take my CDT hat off.
All right. Anything else? I think we're good, right?
Good to go, Ben.
So.
Yep.
I think it's time for the drink of the month.
Hey all, this is Ben here, your BattleTech Master of Spirits. Get your mixers, liquors, shakers, stirs, and strainers ready as we cover this month's BattleTech Drink of the Month.
Hey folks, this month's Drink of the Month is brought to you by Turning Point's Oliver. Something if you haven't checked out yet, it's just got released last week, I believe, at the time of this recording. And this month's Drink of the Month is called the Captain's General's Share. The Captain General's Share. It is 2 ounces of Chambord, 1 ounce of vodka, 1 ounce of amaretto, 1 ounce of apple schnapps, 1 ounce of cranberry juice, and 1 ounce of sour mix. Mix it together and shake it with ice. Pour in a martini glass and garnish with a slice of apple. And give those Operation Guerrero folks a toast for what they were doing out there. So that is your Drink of the Month.
How does it taste, Ben?
It's a little sweet for me. I'm not a huge fruity drink guy, but I think if you remove most of it and just have the apple and some bourbon, you're all right.
I was waiting for what the bourbon replaced, and it was pretty much all of it, huh?
Pretty much all of it.
And this is special because this is the man himself who authored that product. So
that's true. That's true. It was a endeavor that has finally seen the light of day. So that's cool.
Half a lifetime ago.
Yeah.
Hey Ben, I got a question for you, Ben.
Yeah, man.
Why didn't they put any mechs in this one?
Because I don't like mechs. I like tanks and infantry. That's my thing. So we had to make it mean.
I mean, they usually put in.
There wasn't a riverboat in this one or something, right?
Well, yeah, that might come up here in a future product, but
I'm used to having like special mech chassis at the back of the turning points.
I tried to get one in here, but I just couldn't find one that, there wasn't a whole lot of fiction on Guerrero. So it was very difficult to try and pull like a individual type of mech, like I did with Turning Point's Helm or this other thing that I'm working on. What I tried to do was kind of build the scenarios around like the units themselves, because they are units that don't get a lot of screen time. So trying to make the scenarios a little bit interesting to really employ those units in their element, if you will. So
okay. I was just curious.
Yeah, I tried. There is some mechs for you mech lovers out there, but there's a lot more combined arms going on.
I mean, that's the one thing I like about the shrapnel is the very first thing I do is I try to find the new mech the new mech design or vehicle design that they have in it, and take a look at that.
Yeah, and usually from a Turning Point standpoint, it's usually I hold what mech is going to be in there, or I offer a suggestion, and they can either turn it down or not. So you might see more in some products that are coming out soon, but I don't want to get into that. That's not my lane. So
okay. Sorry, don't mean to sidetrack.
No, you're good.
DGL will hang him by his toes if we get too much information.
Our episodes are only sidetrack.
I'm just a small cog in the wheel, But yeah, that's your Drink of the Month.
Woo!
Woo! All right, upcoming events, upcoming action. We've got Strategicon, February 13th through the 16th at the LA Hilton in LA. For those of you that are on those West Coast times. Matt, do you know anything about Strategicon?
Yeah, usually Topa? Phil or maybe some of the other LA guys will run something at Strategicon. So there's usually some sort of BattleTech presence there. I'm not sure exactly what they've got going on for the February one. They basically have 3 Strategicons throughout the year. And so I'm not sure if Phil is running one specifically for this. He's If he is, he's probably running one of his scenarios, his Alpha Strike scenarios that he likes to do, which are really cool. We had one of those at Desert Hot Drop. So really well done. If you're in LA listening to this, check out Strategicon.
And I think for more information, you can contact Phil, Faz.
Yep.
They also have that West Coast Irregular Discord that will probably have a lot of information about the LA stuff. So, or you can always find Chandler Reller because he's always on Discord everywhere you go. So
he's on all of them. Yes,
he's a West Coast guy. So you can ask Chandler. He's more in tune with that than we are. Then we also have Brawl in the Bluegrass, March 6th through the 8th in Lexington, Kentucky. Jeff Tweezer from the Coolant Pod and the MRC.
Yeah, so I'm going to this one. I'm going out to meet some of the people down in the southeast and eastern side of things. And it's this is maybe the third or fourth year, maybe the third year that he's been doing it, and it sounds like a really, really fun thing. They actually, on Friday, they drive up to Iron Winds and do kind of a walk around and then purchase stuff by the pound. And then on Friday, I didn't put this on the document, but they actually have an event where you get like 3 minutes to start gluing your the stuff you bought at Iron Winds, and then you have to start playing with it. And like if you don't have the legs on, it's an immobile thing, and if you don't have the arms on, you don't get the weapons that are on the arms, and you just have to like between the rounds you have to like glue more stuff on, and the more stuff you glue on, then you get to play, it's just like a big old melee battle and stuff. But anyhow, so that's one of the fun things. And then on Saturday they have a big classic tournament, and then on Sunday there's an Alpha Strike tournament. So yeah, if you're in the area, and you can get tickets, which are pretty hard to come by. I think he's sold out kind of on and off already. I'll be there, and it should be fun.
Cool. All right. And then we've got Adepticon, which we talked a little bit about that already. 20-team Alpha Strike 350 doubles, 52-player Alpha Strike 350 singles, BTCC Alpha Strike, Leviathan's Narrative, Alpha Strike, and Total Warfare narrative campaign games. And I think, Topa, did you say that Contractor's going to be running at Adepticon?
No, Contracts probably is not going to be at Adepticon.
Okay. Anything we missed on the Adepticon front for stuff that's going to be there?
I think we mentioned Grinders, Raise Your Flag. Drafted for War. I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah.
Drafted for War. Yeah, we're going to have 2 Drafted for War tournaments, one 16-person tournament, I think Thursday, and then a big giant 40-person tournament again. Instead of Saturday night, it'll be Friday night.
Oh, good. Nice. All right. Anything else on the upcoming action side? Topa, you got anything going on in Michigan that you want to shout out?
Yeah. I mean, look on the BattleTech Network channel or Michigan BattleTech Network. We've got events always being posted up there. I know that like the pods, we advertise the pods on there, which is happening tomorrow on the 20th. I know this is not going to get out before then, but usually every month they've got the pods going on. Hit your local store in Michigan, local game store, and see if there are people playing. And you never know where you may find a store, because you might just roll up to one and there are some players playing. We had some people come into our event center. It's like, hey, we never knew you guys were here, and so we got some new players. So
nice. All right. Anything else?
It's that time again, Ben.
Shout out. All right, Topa, you can be sure as the guest. Any shout out you want to do?
Yeah, I want to shout out Ben. You did a great job with that scenario at Adepticon, or not Adepticon, excuse me, sorry, at KSAGG. That was a lot of fun. I can't wait to see the final product. And then Aaron and Andrew Krull for putting on KSAGG, because it's a great time, and the players are getting together to play some BattleTech and build their social network.
Nice. It's me. I want to shout out Goober, Jeff Stone, for putting on the events at KSAGG, which was the Barbar's Marauder 2s and the first and second Battle for Outreach. I know I played in the Barbar's Marauder 2 game, and that was a blast. And from what I saw of the Battle for Outreach stuff, that looked like it was a lot of fun for everybody. So good job, Goober, for putting that together. Matt, over to you.
Oh, you're going to make me do the KSAGG attendance list? Come on, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
reading glasses.
Exactly. I'm not going to sound like Andrew Cruel over on Wolfnet, but there were a lot of people that it was great to see again at KSAGG and new people. Great to meet. Great to meet the BattleTech guys, Nathan and Michael. Great gents. So, yeah, fantastic people and great to play with them. Great to meet Clint from the MRC. We played games online and then we met there, just happenstance, and it was great to meet him. And another Clint, the Clint from Minnesota. He ran the Wolverine thing that Topa was mentioning earlier, and it was really cool for him to do that. It was huge. It was like a 40-player classic kind of tournament thing. Other great people to see, Seneca and Goolsby and lots of others out there, a lot, kind of a bevy of podcasters. We took a picture, and it was quite a group there. But especially the Wolfnet guys, Andrew and Coach and Tommy and Matt, played or talked with all of you. And we most certainly missed, he better catch this, Mr. Charles Gideon. We missed you very, very much at KSAGG. So shout outs to all of you, and the missing shout out for Charles.
All right, Zemer.
All right. For my shout out this month, I want to shout out the community here at the Valhalla Club. Specifically, I want to give a shout out to one of the newer content creators that has joined the Discord, Intersphere Tech Support. He makes short form content for like YouTube Shorts. I think he's a riot. The character that he puts on, this is totally him. Like, Russian accent and everything. I welcome him to the group, to the Discord. He's doing great stuff. Everybody else who's coming around in the Discord, everybody playing regular games, either MechWarrior Online, MechWarrior 5 Clans. Plenty of people have been chewing through even Trueborn difficulty missions together in here, and it's a delight to see. And my goodness, having tried Trueborn difficulty in the new Wolves of Tukia campaign, it's a slug, man. Why won't the Shadowhawk die?
Yeah, there's some up in the streaming channel right now.
Yeah, we had, throughout this entire recording, I think I've seen half a dozen different names come in and out. So shout outs to all you guys who are just hanging out and keeping the Discord alive and active.
All right. So I don't know when this episode is going to be out, but for those of you that are celebrating, have a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to all. And special shout out to our patrons on Patreon. Appreciate all you guys do. And I think that's it. Last call, everybody.
Last call.
Thanks for joining us today in the Valhalla Club. If you'd like to hang out with us and many other BattleTech podcasters, then be sure to join our Discord. Link is in the description. Special thanks to our sponsor, Ares Games and Miniatures. Ares is the premier online retailer for all your BattleTech needs. If you would like to support the show, you can find us at patreon.com/The Valhalla Club. If you have any comments, please feel free to send an email to thevalhallaclub@outlook.com. Until next time, mech fans.
Right, so you guys stopped recording, right?